Two sisters, both from wealthy families. The younger one married a billionaire from the city, while the older one ended up with a broke small-town fish seller. The younger sister's wedding had a whole fleet of luxury cars pulling up, but the older sister's groom showed up in a beat-up old van. The younger sister couldn't help herself and started mocking her. "It's your wedding day and all you get is one junky van? Ugh, what is that smell? Ha, smells like fish. Go on then, go off with your smelly fish guy." The older sister had no comeback, so she just quietly got in the van. Little did anyone know, both their lives were about to flip completely upside down. The older sister arrived at her new in-law's place and walked in to find her mother-in-law drying salted fish on top of a Rolls Royce. Then at dinner, she noticed the chopsticks were solid silver, and the table was stacked with bird's nest soup, peach resin, and king crab. She popped a piece of abalone in her mouth and nearly lost it. It was honestly better than anything she'd ever had at a Michelin star restaurant. "Oh, stop, you're exaggerating. This is just regular home cooking around here." The more she looked around, the more something felt off. She started seriously wondering if her new husband was hiding a whole other life. While she was still piecing it together, her husband walked in and immediately pulled out a fat, stuffed red envelope and handed it to her. He said it was her wedding gift. The bag was covered in fish scales and reeked of the sea, so she felt a little awkward taking it. But then she thought, hey, she married him. Even if it was just fish eggs in there, she'd smile and say thank you. She opened it and froze. Inside was a pile of gleaming gold bangles. The whole bag was packed solid with pure gold. Is this too tacky? Let me go get something else. Her mother-in-law saw her reaction and assumed she didn't like the gift. So she jumped in and said her son had zero emotional intelligence and had no clue what women actually liked. Then she turned around and went straight in on him. "You clueless boy. How many times have I told you, don't be cheap, and you come home with this? Wait, you're calling solid gold bangles cheap?" Then the husband pulled out a sleek little gift box from his pocket. She opened it and her jaw nearly hit the floor. Inside was an entire box full of massive diamonds. Do you like diamonds? Or not really? If you're enjoying this story, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss what happens next. Her mother-in-law saw her still looking shocked and figured she wasn't into the diamonds either, so she quickly apologized and said they were just simple country folks who didn't really understand romance, and hoped she wouldn't judge them. "You call this humble conditions? Wait, are you guys actually fish sellers?" That just made her even more suspicious about who these people really were. Her mother-in-law explained that yes, their family had been in the fish business for generations. Her son's job was simply delivering fish to clients, so her husband offered to take her to see the fish ponds. When they got there, her whole worldview shattered. The massive, endless ponds stretched as far as she could see, all part of their family's operation. Over there's the pig farm. Past that mountain is where we keep the cattle and sheep, and all of this here is the fishery. Oh, and there's also this. She was already floored, and then he pulled out a bank card and pressed it into her hand, telling her it only had a few $100 million on it, just for spending money. A few $100 million? Yeah, it's a little light for spending money, I know. But you're my wife. Once I pull all the funds together, I'll hand it all over to you to manage. She asked him curiously how much the farming operation brought in per year. He scratched his head and said the market hadn't been great lately, so only a few billion a year. That's when it finally clicked. She hadn't married a fish seller. She had accidentally married one of the wealthiest men alive. Meanwhile, the younger sister wasn't nearly as lucky. She'd gotten her dream-rich family, but life inside that mansion was pure misery. She was treated like a maid every single day, and if anyone in the family was in a bad mood, she got the brunt of it. They even threatened that if she didn't stay in line, her family's political connections would be done for. So the younger sister just swallowed it all and kept her head down. Meanwhile, the older sister, despite sitting on a massive fortune, still went out delivering food every day. One day, her husband called her to come to a high-end banquet. She came straight from a delivery run and didn't even have time to change clothes. She was still trying to figure out why he'd invited her when she looked up and spotted her younger sister across the room. She panicked and tried to find somewhere to hide, but her sister clocked her first and made a point of telling everyone she was just the family's maid. Then she snatched the wine glass right out of her hand and threw it in her face. "I'm just standing here, what is your problem?" The younger sister smirked and announced to the room that everyone here was a top-tier business figure and someone married to a fish peddler had absolutely no business being at this event. To humiliate her even further, the younger sister accused her of being there to steal. She even called her guys over to search her. During the scuffle, the gold bangles on her wrist slipped into view. The younger sister immediately declared those bangles were stolen goods, saying there was no way someone married to a fish guy could afford jewelry like that. She said she had all the evidence she needed and was sending her straight to the police. While she was struggling to break free, her diamond necklace snapped off and fell to the floor. The scheming younger sister spotted it immediately and snatched it up. Angel's wings. One of a kind in the entire world, worth over $5 million. I wouldn't even splurge on something like this. So how do you have it, Linan? Before she could say a word, the guests around them started piling on too, saying a delivery girl from the countryside couldn't possibly own something like that, and it had to be stolen. The younger sister then ordered her crew to drag her to the police station. "Well, what are you waiting for? Take her. I didn't steal anything. Let go of me, let go." "Didn't steal anything? Yeah, right, you brought this on yourself. Hey, what do you think you're doing?